guys, thanks to the Chosen Prime, got these to me. Here is a video review of Titan's Return Deluxe SKULLSMASHER with Grax, or as we know him as Skull Cruncher. But the old, I was going to say alligator, but looking at the shape of his snout, he's really more of a crocodile. He's got more of that long, pointed snout versus the broader, flatter snout of an alligator. But, hey. So here he is. You can see, he's a crocodile. He's long and green and pink. Just as a real quick comparison, here he is with his old G1 self. About the same length, honestly. The G1 version, if you put the tips of their tail together, is just a smidge longer with bigger proportions, especially in the head. But roughly the same length as the old toy. Although he doesn't store his headmaster in his mouth this time around. You can see there's actually a nicely molded tongue there inside the mouth, some nice metallic green plastic, and then the kind of pinkish purple there for the rest of his body with some details. I do like his mouth can open. He can open his mouth pretty wide with that cool little sculpted tongue in there. I mean, it is on a ball joint, so it can turn and look around. Even with the mouth closed, you can pretty decent range up and down and a pretty decent range side to side. Now his head does come in the package. His head does come detached. It just plugs onto a ball joint here, so it's detached in the packaging, and you just got to pop it on. He's got some decent posability in the legs. They rotate here a little bit, and they rotate up here. And the back legs are just on little ball joints back here, so you can move them around a little bit, widen them out a little bit. Then the tail can wag, although it does tend to pop it off the peg if you wiggle it too much, because it just pegs on right back here. But you can pose the tail side to side there. And his gun stores back here to form the tail tip. He's got a little soft plastic canopy. You can see it's kind of that soft rubbery plastic there to hide Grax inside. And there's Grax, the little Titan Master. And they're very similarly designed to the old, see if we can get him in focus here, Headmasters. They fold in half to form the head. Except this time their arms are actually on ball joints, so you can move them out, not very far because of the shape of them, but they can kind of angle out a little bit as well as move forward. And what's cool this time is the head itself is actually on a little ball joint here. You can move it a little bit side to side, front to back, and it can turn. And that's what gives the neck articulation in robot mode. So that's really cool. And they are very tiny. They're very, very small figures. Like here's Grax from Titan's Return compared with the G1 version. So you can see they're much smaller than the original Headmasters. And to transform him, he's not too difficult. We just pop the tail off here. And flip his legs down like this. And then these come up and peg on. You can see there's a little slot for him there. Just peg right onto the side of the legs. And his feet flip out like that. And then up here, the head, push this panel back in, the alligator head or crocodile head comes off of here. These are his shoulders. They're actually angled up here. There's some angled slots on here that these tab into when you're going to robot mode. But you just flip this down onto his back and then pull the arms down to the side like that. Bring the arms down, rotate them, then rotate the forearm around. Flip that back. There's his body. And he does get a little, if he's not holding his weapons, a little back heavy. And he doesn't have a little flip out heel to help, so he can be a little back heavy until you get some weapons in his hand. So we'll see if we can get him to stand up straight here. Come on. I'll just lean him forward until we get the head and everything. Then Grax just folds in half to form the head. And then that just plugs right in here into the body. And because of that joint, like I said, he can turn his head side to side. He can look, again, limited by the bulk of the Headmaster, but he can look up and down a little bit. But he's got some nice neck articulation that the old Headmasters didn't have. His weapon, his tail can separate into, if I can get his gun out here, into the two individual weapons. There we go. So he's got his tail shield, and you can either have him hold it by this peg on the bottom, like that, or you can, well, we'll show that peg here off in a minute. And then you can hold his pistol. And there he is. Let's get him back here and we'll do some size comparisons here, get him in focus. And so here he is with his old G1 self. As you can see, he's got some details painted to match. It looks pretty good. And just for the fun of it, since I have them here, here he is with the Fans Project Crocs. And here he is with Toy World Swamper. Back that up and hold them all up there. So yeah, I think I may actually be mold complete on SKULLSMASHER of all figures. But yeah, there is a size comparison with all the various versions of him throughout the years. Now all of them also have like a secondary weapon armament mode for their Titan Master to use. And in the case of SKULLSMASHER, you can take, again, loses his head in robot mode if he's interacting with another figure, or in alligator mode if you want to flop it up. But you can take all of his Headmaster, or his Titan Master, I guess they're technically called now. You can take him, set him in here, like this. Actually, it might help if you lift the arms up a little bit. You can set him in the little chair here in the bottom of the tail, plug the gun in, and then this little peg can come down and it can attach to the various figures that have base modes. Like I said, he can hold it in his hand. Obviously, he's missing his head now, but any Titan Master can sit in that weapon and function as a little pot gunner for the bigger weapon here. And like I said, you can attach these to other vehicle modes, other Decepticons. They just got their own little pods that can interact with the rest of the Titan's Return line, which is really pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get him back together real quick, just to wrap it up. But yeah, I think him and Hardhead are my favorites of this Deluxe Wave 1 wave. That was kind of repetitive there. But yeah, him and Hardhead, and I don't know if maybe they benefited from having already previously been Headmasters before, but I definitely think that him and Hardhead are the two solid figures from the first wave. Blur and Scourge have some really neat transformation bits going on in them, and we'll show those off in those videos. For the time being, again, thanks to the Chosen Prime, there is Titan's Return Deluxe SKULLSMASHER with Grax. Oh, and real quick, I forgot to show these off in the video. He does come with the instruction sheet and a nice little heavy cardstock bio card with his stats on the back, if you wanted to see those. Didn't want to forget them.